I've never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. Brentford 2, West Ham United 0. I'm angry to a point because I look at some of these players today, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't expecting much today. I really wasn't. And I knew from the moment we started that this wasn't going to be our day. It really, really wasn't. I don't know where to begin, really, but some of these players are just not fit enough to wear the shirt, some of them, Some of them are absolute scumbags, if I speak the honest truth. And they shouldn't even be nowhere near West Ham's team, like, ever. But I'm going to get into it. For me, Lanzini, like, if you love him or not, he's done. 4-0 for me, needs to be sold. Crap, no good. Emerson, shocking and all. Right, that's to name 3 players straight away. That's off the top of my head. Lucas, welcome.
How's it going?
Not good, mate. Talk to me about that.
Not good.
Shit.
I mean, I'm really not too bothered about today, honestly.
Yeah.
I knew the type of match we were coming into, especially. I mean, I didn't even need to see the lineup. I knew we were going to rotate. And then once I did see the lineup, I was pretty happy.
Best bet of the season. I said it the other day on Twitter. Even money, Brentford. I said, get your money on it. Yeah, I don't back against West Ham. I never have done in my life. I said, but whoever does, get on Brentford because they won't lose this game. It's fucking the best money ever.
Just to leave it short. I mean, it was like the deadest match I've seen in a long, long time from West Ham. So I mean, the only thing that disappointed me was there was probably 3, maybe 4 players that, like, they finally get their chance to shine and prove their worth, see something, and they just totally fell flat on their face. I.e., I would say Flynn Downs is definitely one of them. He was not good today at all. He very uninspiring. Fornals wasn't very good, but I don't think he really needs, in my opinion, to really prove anything to anyone except this season.
But
Danny
I understand people said about Flynn, though, Lucas. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, this is his first season. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mate, that's in a game like this. That's no excuse. He should be trying to do a lot more than what he done today, and he didn't. He kept it so basic. He gave the ball away a ton. Like, and I'm not asking him to turn water into wine because he does have Souček next to him as a partner, so he is a bit limited, but. I expected Flynn Downs to try and take some sort of control today, but it didn't happen. And then I wasn't really impressed with Danny Ings. I wasn't impressed with Cornet.
Yeah,
I wasn't impressed.
That was all shit. That was all shit. Let's be real. The only one who I can give any credit to today is Fab. He was in the game for us as he did. Yeah, just be real. Who else is there?
I don't know. I didn't think there was a lot. I don't know how to describe it. I don't think there was a lot of terrible performances. I would just say uninspiring because I thought first half Lanzini and Emerson were our 2 only players that, I'm not saying they played great, but they seemed to be the only 2 players in my opinion that, like, tried to pass the ball forward, tried to be progressive.
Who's that? 4-0 Lanzini?
No, I said Emerson and Lanzini.
Emerson and Lanzini.
But again, I'm not saying they were good by any means, but like today, if I had to sum it up, it was an uninspiring performance, especially from some players that they finally get their chance. And I expected them to shine a bit in a match that didn't really mean much. That's why I wanted to see, like, example, Flynn Downs. That's why I wanted to see him be a bit more out of the box, a bit more adventurous, like try some things that we haven't seen before. But I was just disappointed in that aspect.
The thing is, I can see people going in at Flynn Downs, but there's people like Pablo Fornals, who's everyone's favourite son, right? And no one mentions a word about him today, about Pablo, right? How just average and bang average he's been this season. But it's because he sings bubbles to his kid and he's good on the fucking mic. That's all it is. Listen, right? And I've got people saying about Fornals and Ben Rama. I think it proved today that Ben Rama fucking pisses away with Fornals. all over Fornells going forward. Do you know what I'm saying? Fornells does nothing. Lanzini and Fornells don't play well together. I've said it so many times. No one listens. Yeah, you can dig out Flynn, rightfully so. Right, I will agree. He was shit today, but I think digging out a man who is sort of backup at best, when you've got people like Pablo Fornells, Danny Ings, Emerson, who are these players who people want in the team, I think is disgusting. I think it's disgusting, if I'm being real. Do you know what I mean? I ain't going to fucking sugarcoat it today. Yeah. Listen, I didn't expect West Ham to win today. Yeah. I say that quite openly. Did not expect West Ham to win at all. But I expected a performance of some note, and there was none today. Second half, okay, right, we'll get to VAR in a minute. But second half, we were huffing and puffing, but we just didn't blow the ass down, in my opinion.
I think it's just sad that Benrahma and Mubama played for 30 minutes, and they're probably our best players today. And again, like, did they really pull up any trees? I'd say no, but they definitely looked the brightest and most positive. I will say, like I said, I'm not one to hype up like youngsters or anything, but what Mubama done today is what I've said for the past like maybe 2 or 3 matches now. He come on the pitch and done more than Danny Ings has done all season, besides his shit brace against Forest.
Yeah, I know. He's unlucky with a goal. Don't get me wrong. We will get to that.
I'm not even going to get into that. That's a waste of my energy. It's a waste.
I'm going to be honest. I've got plenty of fucking energy today to express my views on VAR. We might as well talk about it before we get a couple of lads on. For me, VAR is fucking absolutely disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely disgusting. How can you not give a handball last week against Lindelof? How can you not give a handball against Thiago against Liverpool, but you can give a handball to a man where the ball is literally 2 yards away, not even 2 yards away, a yard away from him? Yeah, as it comes out and smacks him on the arm, where can he put his hands? Where can he put his hands? It's a fucking joke. It's making me fall massively out of love with football, bruv. It really is. It was disgusting. Because I'm not being funny, and Bambo deserved that moment, right? And that would have got his confidence up even more so. He's been a part of doing something, and now VAR. I can't even get my words out. I'm so angry. VAR fucked us completely today, absolutely. And it was just, listen, I ain't going to sugarcoat it about VAR too much because the performance was shit. But we've got to be real. Fucking VAR needs to sort themselves out.
The only thing I'll say, and I agree with what some people said on Twitter, like, we weren't great today, but like, even if that goal goes in, we're down 1 goal. That does probably change the momentum a little bit, especially with bringing Rice, Benrahma on, and we look a bit better. But it's just principles and morals. There's none of that in officiating. And I know people love my referee ratings when I go on a tangent, and I love when Mitch, Alfie, Clive, whoever, like they don't necessarily make fun of me for my ref ratings, but they're just like, mate, what are you on? And I'm like, this is why I give the ratings I do. It's not hard to see, and I totally understand where people come from at the point of view where it's like, I don't really give a toss about the referee, like yada yada yada. But mate, I do. I'm sick of the officiating in this league. It literally is not only ruined the game of football, it ruins outcomes. It ruins club seasons. I mean, mate, if we're being completely honest, I mean, Aston Villa probably still shouldn't be in the Premier League from that one season, the last game where they had that last second goal and they drew with us and we kept them up, or it kept them up. Or actually, no, they didn't have what was it that day? There was no goal line technology or whatever that day. But again, that's it. Again, I think it's corruption. I think it's blatant, just bullshit.
No,
whatever.
It's just shit, Lucas. Right? It makes no sense. Like the problem I have with VAR, right, is this, is that how can you go from not giving a handball when it's blatant handball in the box twice in 2 or 3 weeks to when the ball comes in, it hits the post, hits the young lad on the arm where he can't go anywhere. But that is handball.
And I'm still not sure if it hit his hand or his shoulder.
Well, wherever it is hit, they've deemed it handball.
And again, I don't
it's
even
fucking outrageous.
know what a handball is anymore. From what I can gather, under the new rules nowadays, that shouldn't be a handball because what do you want the kid to do? Fucking concuss himself into the post, which I would say Mubama already 95% committed to concussing himself back post, and he was literally maybe an inch away from doing that. And they call a handball. I don't get the rule. It doesn't make sense, and it's so fucking inconsistent. It's annoying.
He's bad. And
if the match wasn't if it wasn't so dead or like really didn't mean anything, some people will say it meant something because we're still not mathematically safe. I respect that, but in my opinion, really not a lot. Didn't mean a lot today, but still, like. If it meant more, I'd be fuming. But the Premier League Twitter admin is lucky.
Yeah, I know,
we are where we are.
I understand that. Yeah, listen. Right, I understand what you're saying. Before I get people on, and listen, anyone wants to come on, the link is in the chat. It's pinned at the top. Come on, speak to me and Lucas. Tell me what you think about today. Yeah, but I'm going to say this. Yeah, I know people say, "Oh, it doesn't really matter," and all that today, but it does really on a performance basis. Like, on a performance basis, it does to me. Yeah, I wasn't expecting West Ham to get a result. I wasn't. Yeah, I thought fucking Brentford were the best bet of the season that I've seen all season.
I wasn't expecting a good team performance today. I wanted to see
individuals.
I wanted to see some individual moments.
Agree.
A little bit of shine, but that did not happen today with any of the players that I was looking forward to seeing, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it is, mate. It really is. Let's get this man on. So, Daddy, what do you want to say?
Look, I need to say some stuff. Firstly, Pablo Fornals, what is he doing? He could be a better mascot for this team than a winger for us, because that was abysmal. What is that? I saw nothing from him. That Benrahma cameo put him in shame, and Mbamba played right wing better than him. And also, on the first goal, Fabianski should save that. I know he had a good game, but he should have saved it. It was right at him.
Right.
And then
he made the same exact save like 10 minutes later.
I know.
Yeah.
Emerson, don't play left wing challenge impossible. You're not a winger. You're a defender.
Yeah.
And then another thing, this was shameful. If on Thursday we need a substitute, like it's not going well second half, who is Moyes going to bring on?
There is no one. But I'm going to be honest with you.
The only one he could bring on is Mbamba. He's the only person I would consider subbing on Thursday. None of them.
Listen. Yeah, today will open up a few people's eyes today. Yeah, in my opinion, they will look at today and go, we need a fucking massive rebuild in the summer. Massive. Yeah.
Aguirre, he's going to be playing on Thursday. He was not good today. He wasn't good. I think he was bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Ogbonna, I don't think Ogbonna was any better.
Yeah, I hear you, mate.
And then what's it called? Souček, he was awful as well. Him and Downs, terrible partnership. Never try that partnership again.
Atone for your sins on your James Ward-Prowse comment. Atone for your sins.
I don't rate him either, but he's better than Downs.
Thank you. That's all I want to hear. That is the only thing that is really kind of.
Glenn Downs would be a good footballer if he could pass forwards, but the only thing he knows is sideways and back.
The problem is with Downs, right? I've got to say this. Right, I've got to say this. The only thing I will say with Downs to back him up is it's his first season at West Ham.
I know.
That's the only thing I can say. But today he was not good. I will agree with every man, woman, child, fucking pet, anything they like. Yeah, I agree with you.
We
Go ahead.
Sell Ben Johnson to Millwall. He is awful footballer. Bro, he's literally a championship. He wouldn't even be top half championship. He should be playing for like, I don't know, some mid-table championship team. Send them to Preston.
Yeah,
then,
right. So Daddy, I know you've got so much to say, but I'm going to fire you some questions, and I've got to let you go, bruv. Yeah.
All right.
So, best player for you today for West Ham?
Saeed Benrahma.
Fair play, mate. Yeah, I thought you done all right when you come on. I must admit.
Yeah,
Worst player for West Ham.
Fornals.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, he's up there, isn't he? Fucking one of
Or
it. Right,
Emerson. Those two. Awful.
Yeah. And what do you think about Moyes today? He done the right thing today, Moyes. I'll give him his due, but the players let him down today.
Moyes can't win with some of the fans. Some of the
Yeah.
fans are upset with how he played today when Moyes literally did. They're like, please, Moyes, sub the whole team off. Make changes. He makes changes like you ask. And the player, that's not Moyes' fault. We weren't even trying to win. But I will say, we need to go fairly strong on versus Leeds because I want to make sure we're safe. We got to go at least make less changes for Leeds.
We'll be safe, mate. I think the damage was done last week.
We'll know tomorrow for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
If Leicester lose, I think yeah, because
we are
yeah.
safe if Leicester lose.
Right, and on that note, Damien just come out of a classic. He says, Moyes out, so Daddy in. But I'm sorry, but it's Moyes. It's so Daddy out now. So Daddy, thank you very much.
Yep.
Take it easy, please, man. Listen, I understand his frustration. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but my frustration is the player performances today. Like if you was to go through individual, like the player rating tonight is going to be a vibe. Trust me, fucking big time. I heard what Mitch said on the player rating on the WhatsApp.
I'm just hoping. I mean, me personally, for my own health and wellness. Yeah. I know the chat and whoever's watching is going to probably pray for carnage, but it shouldn't. I don't think it should be that bad today. Like today for me, it's just constructive criticism. Like I'm not giving up on anyone that I saw today, bar maybe one player, because I've said now for a little bit that one particular right back just is not Premier League quality. But everyone else, I mean, even him, I'll always have faith in Ben Johnson, but it just hasn't shown me anything. And it's the same with Flynn Downs. And like, I have faith in Flynn Downs. Just today was just a rough patch. It was a bump in the road, which I firmly believe. But
yeah, but I understand that the criticism of Flynn, because he does pass the ball sideways and back. He does, yeah. And I will hold my hand up and I'll say, listen, I'm fucking with all these in agreeing with that, yeah, openly. But I can't criticise this geezer on his first fucking season at West Ham. I can't. When I've got people like Emerson, right, who is an experienced footballer, it may be his first season at West Ham, but he's a Champions League winner, Europa League winner.
You think he was that bad today?
I think defensively he was a bit all over the place, but going forward he's not too bad. I will be real. Aguerd today, for me, right, and I'm one of his biggest fucking backers, yeah? I thought he was shit today, Aguerd. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I thought he was absolutely fucking shite. I think him and Apollo just don't work well together. 1 minute they're very, very good. 1 minute they're awful. Yeah. Against Crystal Palace, when Zuma went off, they fucking collapsed like a deck of cards. Yeah. And then against Manchester United, they turn up and be like well beaters.
I don't know. Like I told you in the group, for me,
yeah.
How many we made from our normal starting 11? We made 9 changes. Changes. I know some players have played together before, but I mean, for me, that's a whole new unit essentially. Like, I just think in terms of throughout the pitch, from back line to midfield to up front, you need time to gel, and none of those players are ever probably going to play with each other again on the same pitch. So, like, I don't know. I'm not going to go as far as like saying someone was like.
Yeah, but you know what but you know what is the worry though, Lucas? Yeah, right. If West Ham get a couple of key injuries to key men,
yeah,
right.
No, but I agree. But
that's the team we've got.
I think Flynn Downs actually looked better with. Wait, I can't even. The whole match seems like a blur now.
Joe, what? That's an interesting comment there from Alan.
I think Flynn Downs looked a bit better with Rice on the pitch today, but that's my point. Like, it's the same. It's the same thing with. I know Fornals wasn't great today, but like, I mean, when Rice comes on, things seem to have changed a bit. But again, like I'm really not fussed with 9 players that maybe have played with each other. I would say less than a handful of times. Like the only combinations I can remember of people playing with each other is like Fornals, Lanzini, Aguero, Ogbonna. I don't think I've ever seen Johnson, Emerson, Ogbonna, Aguerd.
I have. I'll tell you what. Tell a lie. Did I see that at Brighton? Ben Johnson played. Emerson played. Aguerd definitely played. Someone tell me in the chat before I get to Charlie Walsh, who's at the bottom.
My point is basically if they haven't played more than 5-10 matches with each other, like as a unit.
Yeah.
Like I really can't be bothered. That's my view.
Yeah. Charlie Walsh, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Mixed, bruv, if I'm being honest. Listen, I didn't expect anything today. Right? We spoke about it the other night, and we said that like we wasn't really expecting anything today. But I think certain individual performances are diabolical for me. They really are. I don't know about you, but like these are men who are trying to compete to get into the first team, and none of them looked any good. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I said this on the watch long, but like. It's fine. I don't really care about this game in any way, shape, or form. But like, I wanted more from the performances. That's all I really cared about. We were going to lose regardless. I was 100% confident we were going to lose from the start. I mean, we could put our strongest team against Brentford. I'd still be 100% confident we're going to lose because we don't know how to beat Brentford.
We definitely score today, though.
Yeah. If we have our strongest team out, we don't. Well, we score today. It's just somehow. You both know this. I don't say anything about referees ever. My lord! Wow, what a decision that was. Bold, but I don't know. I can't act like I care about the result. It was just the performance I cared about, and in that sense, I'm really disappointed.
Spoiler alert: -5 for the referee tonight.
Big.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? The thing is, Charlie. I don't know about you, but obviously it all come out last night that Moyes could probably stay next season. Yeah, and we'll talk about that later. But when I look at the team that is on the pitch today. That's a team that if we have a couple of injuries, that team's going to have to come in and perform. That's the problem.
Yeah, but it'd be different, though, wouldn't it? I mean, like one or two of those players is different than every single one.
Would it be different, though, Charlie? That's the question.
That's a bit of a stretch. There was 9 changes.
That's my point. I think like it's different because you don't have 9 of them playing at once. It's like saying it's like, you know, throwing in an entire youth team as opposed to putting 1 or 2 in. Do you know what I mean? It's a different scenario, right?
So would you have that attitude on Thursday if we make 9 changes again and go with our strongest team and they don't perform? Because the way I look at it is if you are going to make 9 changes, then players need to make a statement to say, David Moyes, I'm here, pick me.
But
none of them did
their statement shouldn't have any effect on Thursday. We all know the assignment. They know the assignment. Everyone on that pitch today knew exactly why they were on the pitch, and they'd be naive not to know why.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I think some of them are just overhyped and overrated, if I'm being honest.
Well, no, that's not even the point I'm trying to make. Like we all know why that lineup came out today. Those players on the pitch know exactly why they were playing. And for me, the only thing disappointing today is just individual performances and other individuals didn't take the opportunity given to them. Albeit it might have been like a shit opportunity, but really in the end it's not. I mean, yes, it's a dead rubber match, but this is your chance to impress the gaffer, and you didn't. And I will openly say that for everyone that watched that match today. No one impressed us.
But it's also difficult for I agree with that, but it's also difficult for a group of players who know they're in that situation because they're second choice, and then also
they've never played with each other.
The idea of they're on their way into a team to face Leeds in a game that we don't care about, to face Leicester in a game that we don't care about, like. there's not a lot to be gained from doing incredible work. I'm fine with it. Like, it is what it is. I'm not happy with it, but it just is what it is.
Today should have no effect on Thursday, in my opinion, in the slightest.
Yeah, I wouldn't see it so ever.
It's not about that. It's about the players' performances, though, as a whole. Like forget the team performance, because the team performance was shit. But I look at certain man, right, and I'll go for a few names right now. Maxwell Cornet for me. Yeah, people will make excuses and say, "Oh, he needs to come in." Like Ben Rama's shit, or like get Maxwell Cornet in. What the fuck did Maxwell Cornet do in an hour? Like, tell me.
I'm not joking. Right? I think he arguably was our worst player.
Right. He does nothing, yeah. Manuel Lanzini, I love the man, yeah. He's been here a long time, but it's not for him anymore. The Premier League, yeah.
But does that matter for Thursday? Because they were never.
It doesn't matter for Thursday, but I'm looking long term now, mate. I'm not worried about Thursday because I think
but
Thursday
long term is different, right? Lanzini's halfway out the door. Like looking at that team, right? Being realistic about it, right? Like. Right. Lanzini's halfway out the door. Ogbono could potentially be leaving. Johnson could be going out on loan. Like Flynn Downs is a footballer, I guess. Like most of these players aren't people who are sticking around. Our big problem at West Ham is our second string is awful, and it has been for years. We buy all these players to sort out our second string, and none of them have ever worked. Like
the three of them players, though, Charlie, are in our best team. Souček, Aguerd and Fabianski.
Well, I mean, I didn't mention Thomas Souček for a reason, but I mean, but like, yeah, but
he was also shit today.
Yeah, he wasn't great. Like, it's not that deep though. It's not that deep. Like,
I don't think
it's like if you put 3 good players surrounded by 8 bad players, it's still not going to go well.
I agree.
It's like, oh, well, if you put Messi in a League 2 side, he's not going to score that much. Well, yeah, because it's just different, isn't it?
Again,
the way these things work.
Today, what I wanted to see, like, if Maxwell Cornet got the ball, yeah, I don't want him to, totally just ignore everyone else on the pitch, but I want to see him have a go at someone. Flynn Downs today, what I want to see from Flynn Downs is him try to not emulate Rice, but maybe, try some stuff that Rice does, and again, I'm not.
But he's not Declan Rice, and this is what people don't understand. Though, Lucas.
If you let me finish, I was going to say that.
Let him land.
Flynn Downs will never be Declan Rice, nor is he that type of player. But Flynn Downs, he's got to show something off in a dead rubber match. That's what I expected. And then who else we got?
But you know what?
Ings as well.
Right. But you know what? Flynn Downs is the only one who's not Premier League proven in that side. Everyone else is. Every man is Premier League proven in that side. I know we've just got £2 from a Tottenham fan. Thank you very much. Banter FC is back. Yeah, but that Banter FC is going to win the cup, mate. Don't you worry about that, mate.
That's a good title charge for the season, Banter FC Cup. Yeah. That's a good.
Listen, I want everyone in my chat right now who sees that, right? Remember that. Yeah, clip that, and when we win the fucking conference, then I will be returning the favour of the £2. The problem is, gentlemen, Flynn Downs, and I can understand that the sort of disrespect for him. I get it, but he's not Premier League proven. Every other man on that pitch was today.
It's because he's probably not a Premier League player, if we're being honest about it.
But he's Ben Johnson. Yeah. And Ben Johnson's blagged it for years.
Ben Johnson's better than him. I'm not being funny, but Ben Johnson at the beginning of the season was one of our more consistent players. He's been moved around from position to position all season, and he's a young guy.
Yeah, and again, I didn't think Ben Johnson was bad today at all. I just thought he was incredibly average.
Yeah, I'm not looking unfair. I don't think Ben Johnson is going to start for West Ham United in the future, but I at least see what he brings. Flynn Downs is okay.
It's basic. Well, what it is with Flynn Downs, right? He's your basic, typical midfielder, like pass the ball sideways back. Right? When people look at him as Declan Rice, do what Declan does.
I'll tell you what, they look at him as James Ward-Prowse, which is fucking disrespectful in my opinion.
Yeah, well, do you know what I'm saying? But then that's on them. That's not my opinion. Obviously, I think Ward-Prowse is a far more seasoned professional. Do you know what I'm saying? But then what I'm trying to say is
better than him.
Right, when I look at our backup team today, tell me really, who would you call upon on Thursday night if we need them? There is fucking...
But none of them. But they're your backup team for a reason.
Yeah, I know, Charlie, but that's not good enough, though, is it, mate? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
It is good enough, though.
Because I've heard this, and I know I'm going on a bit of a tandem here, yeah?
You
can't
have...
Sorry, I'll let you finish. I've heard this all season, Charlie, yeah, about Benny. Oh, he's better off the bench because we need something off the bench. Well, we've got all these players, Maxwell Cornet, Pablo Fornals, Lanzini. They don't get a fucking question. And they don't even get the reason why they don't do that is because they're not good enough. They're just not good enough at all. Do you know what I'm saying? And they were good enough. They're not now.
I don't necessarily disagree, but you can't have 2 first 11s. We're West Ham. We're not Manchester City.
But what we could have though, Charlie, is about 3 or 4 players, or 3 players at best, who you could think, you know what, could do a job from the bench.
Yeah, like Lanzini could do a job from the bench. Fornals can do a job from the bench. Cornet at his best could do a job from the bench, although he's not doing well enough at the moment. But they exist.
You got to remember, our lineup today was just it's second string. I guarantee you that Fornals, Lanzini, even though, and Cornet as well, even though they've shown at times this season, even with some of our more stronger players in the side, that they haven't played well, it's just totally different. I mean, and the magnitude as well of the match. Like, I guarantee you, if Fornals, Lanzini, Cornet, Ings comes on in a European semifinal, surrounded by Declan Rice and Bowen, our other stronger players, like, it's going to be a bit different. That's why, again, today's, like, I really can't be fussed about today. Like, I saw it coming, but the individual performances were the only thing that, like, I was just looking for more. My glass is half empty instead of full.
I think as well, like, we do have to remember, it's Brentford. We've played our first choice 11 against Brentford and looked this bad before. It just is the way it. Like, sometimes you have a team that you just can't beat, and that's them for us. It sucks, but it's the way it is.
In hindsight, is a beautiful thing, because I actually really didn't think Brentford were, like, fantastic today. I thought they were solid, but
I thought if you're saying, like, if you're looking at it from, like, a team rating as opposed to a player rating, right, and 6 is your sort of, like, yeah, that's an acceptable performance, then you're looking at Brentford getting what? A 7, a 6.5, probably something like that. And we were at like a 4 or a 4.5. It's like, whatever, man. Like, it's we weren't god awful.
And most of that is because
they weren't great. They were fine.
Because most of that, you look at the lineup and you've got a ton of players that have barely played with each other. So really, what is there to expect? There was no expectation today. So that's why, for me, I'm not like too fussed.
I don't know though, Lucas. Well, I'll guarantee you right now, if you had David Moyes sitting in front of you, he would expect to go there and put in a performance. But it's easy to say that.
Because he's the manager. I'm talking as a supporter.
Right, and I guarantee you right now, all them supporters went there today was expecting some sort of performance. But let's be honest, in 90 minutes, what did we really do? Really? To say that?
Nothing, because of the lineup we put out.
But then I look at the lineup, right, and I look at people like Cornet, and I think, right, this is your moment now, right?
Can I say something about Cornet? I feel like you're being overly harsh on Cornet and too kind on Flynn Downs, if I'm being honest. Cornet apparently, I don't know what it is. Apparently, he's got no bones or some nonsense. I don't know what the hell's going on with that guy's legs. Who knows, right? But like, he's had a hugely hit season and has played next to no minutes. Like,
because Antonio for many years though.
No, it's a completely different scenario, bro. Like, you're looking at a guy who's basically played no time at all this season and come back from an injury that we had to ship him to Paris at one point to see a doctor who's like, I've only ever seen this twice in my life, and he's a doctor. Like, clearly something's gone wrong, right?
No, apparently twice in 150 years.
Wild, right? Wild. Like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what the hell it is. It's just some next problem, right? But like, Cornet's one of the few people I can forgive. I don't think he played well enough.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because I was thinking to myself, do you know what? Cornet is a next season thing. Pre-season, that's when he can come back. He's had the rest. He's had a little bit of game time. We can embed him in, see where we're saying, seeing all that sort of stuff, right?
I can forgive everyone today.
Cornet's one of the few people who I'm like, do you know what? Fine. Like, like, it is what it is. like because he just is he's
But-
still coming back off a massive.
I just want to say this though, Charlie. Yeah, you're prepared to say that about Cornet, but you're not prepared to say that about Flynn.
Flynn
And that's-
Downs has played a huge amount. Flynn Downs has played more minutes in the last couple of years than say Emerson has. Like Flynn Downs is a senior footballer who has been playing for years.
But he's not a Premier League footballer though, mate. This is his first season.
I agree, he's a championship at best footballer. But the point I'm
He's
trying to
yeah.
make, but that's what it is. That doesn't mean he should be sitting there in a Premier League midfield doing 5-yard passes all the time. Like I'm not like I like Flynn Downs as an idea. Like Flynn Downs as a squad player for a team who are in the lower half of the Premier League vibes. Sure,
Right.
whatever, man. Like he can come in, he'll keep possession of the ball.
Right.
Sure. But like he's not going to do anything interesting. And there's no like I don't disagree there is a bedding in period, but we're on match day 36. He's played more. Flynn Downs has made more appearances for West Ham this season than Emerson has. Now, granted, he's played significantly less minutes.
But he's also playing against the big six away from home, Charlie, where we don't win. It makes his rating look bad.
I don't think that's. I liked him in some of those games. The more I've seen of him, the less I've liked him.
For me personally, Charlie, yeah, I look at it like this, yeah. I find that Flynn gets a lot of hate. Was he shit today? Yes. Oh, my hands up. Shit. No good. Well, it wasn't good enough today, yeah. But then I look at Maxwell Cornet. He has had chances to come in this season since his injury. Like I remember Fulham away when he goes through one-on-one and he spoons it straight into the goalkeeper's hands. There was enough effort the other week. I think it was against Liverpool, where he literally goes through one-on-one again and spoons it into Rosette. But today, he played today. He was on for 60 minutes. And I'll tell you what, he was just nowhere to be seen. Like, I look at him. I look at Fornals and all. He's another man that I think gets a lot of hype. Yeah. And what does Fornals really do? Really, in an attacking sense, on the left-hand side? Not a lot, mate. Not a lot. He just doesn't do it.
I agree. I agree. I don't think I love Pablo Fornals. He was nowhere near good enough today. He was one of.
But has he been good enough?
He was definitely one of the worst players on the pitch today.
I
love Pablo Fornals. I love him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. But has he been good enough in the last 6 months, Charlie? Like
probably
I don't.
Not, no, probably not.
Like for me, I can just see the worry that I have is I don't just look at our starting 11 because don't forget. Declan Rice comes on today. Ben Rama comes on today, yeah? Ben Rama will be here next year. Declan won't be here next year, right? So really what I'm looking at is the players on the bench, plus Mikel Antonio, plus that team that we've got. That's a worry, right? And the quality's just not there. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Emerson, you can say about Emerson, I'll try and back Emerson up, but defensively, Emerson is absolutely shocking. Like, he is.
Yeah,
like,
he's real hit or miss defensively, massively.
Like,
some games you look at him and you're like, oh my god, wait, he can defend. And
yeah.
then 4 games in a row, you'll be like, oh wait, no, he can't defend. He can't defend. It's annoying with him. It's annoying with him. He was a waste of money, but there you go. What can you do?
But it is a worry. It is a worry. Like, and I just look at people like, listen, I don't look at Lanzini because I don't think Lanzini will be here next year. I think Lanzini's time at West Ham's coming to an end. Yeah. But then I look at Obonna, right? Is he another one? Yeah. That do you need to get Obonna out and get another younger, fitter defender in who could go?
You probably need to. The difference with Obonna is I think performances wise he is good enough, but his age, you're 100% correct. Like, but this is the thing we don't refresh the squad. We're spending all this time buying random young players. I mean, like. Again, not to bring it back to the Cornet and Flynn Downs point, right? But Flynn Downs has played like almost 3 times the amount of minutes as Maxwell Cornet this season, right? But you're looking at them and thinking, there's so many problems, right? We don't rotate enough is a big thing. So when you get an opportunity to come in like today, it's like you're almost having to do it cold and it's stupid. Like we should rotate more, but David Moyes just doesn't like rotating. That's just his vibe. It's a decision you make. I understand it. I disagree with it, whatever, right? But like if you look over the last like 3 years, look, actually, you can go the entire time David Moyes has been here, right? This second time. Our starting 11, it's been basically the same, which is a problem because they're getting older. Like Mikel Antonio is a great example of that, of someone who, like, we should have found someone younger than him to be able to do what he does for the team years ago. And the fact he still is so vital is insane. But the backups are constantly different. That substitutes bench, the people who you would put in the squad who are actually getting game time, they're just constantly rotating. None of them are the same. We just keep changing them from year to year, and none of them have ever been good enough. And this is a consistent problem we've had for a long time. Is like, why are we? I mean, that's a recruitment problem. That's just always has been a recruitment problem, and it always will be at West Ham until David Sullivan allows himself to no longer be in charge of recruitment. But it's just dumb. It's just dumb. But then again, there isn't a team in the Premier League apart from Manchester City maybe, who you could rotate your first 11 out of, and you would be able to put in the same level of performance. It just doesn't exist.
You rotate the whole 11, and there's still a top 6 side. Yeah,
Manchester City are like the one, and that's just because they're Manchester bloody City, right? They're like, oh, we're going to bring on Phil Foden off the bench now. Oh, is it? Okay, good. Well, that's good. I'm glad. You enjoy that. Like, there's no team in the Premier League who would be able to rotate as much as we did today and still put out the same level of performance. It just doesn't happen. The problem is that you look at it and you say, well, how many of these players are still going to be here? And I don't want to use the term rebuild because I don't think we ever built in the first place. That's kind of the issue here. The thing is, as you mentioned earlier, realistically, I mean, look, I don't think it's worth talking about David Moyes. I'll be honest, and I'll tell you why. Because literally 15 different things could happen between now and the end of the season, which will mean he'll either go or stay. It will find out in the summer what's going to happen, right? But if you don't want another rebuild, the thing is you probably have to keep him. Because the only time this team looks good is when we play a David Moyes system with the David Moyes players.
That is exactly what I've been trying to say for like months now, that like, and again, not to go on David Moyes, but like David Moyes has done what he's done at this club. Yeah. He's brought us probably some of the best success. I'm not saying aesthetically, but football success we've seen in a while. Right. Naturally, once we get in a new manager, we're taking 5 steps back. We're going to have to reset. We're going to have to rebuild. And then you're putting an unrealistic expectation on the new manager because we've just seen this and that, right? So I expect the new manager to come in and do exactly that, bare minimum. Because if he doesn't, then we failed.
Yeah, no, but then I'm not being funny enough. I think, what is the progression then? Because I look at it like, because I've heard so many stories about the Red Bull model. Where are all these young players coming from? I'd like to know where they're all coming from. Right, I've heard that.
David Moyes chatting. That's David Moyes chatting complete bollocks, mate. He said Red Bull because it was something that would get the fans on side instantaneously. There was no even attempt to do that, and there never will be with David Moyes. He's not that vibe. He's not that guy.
But well, let's put it this way:
no one wants to rebuild, but we want to replace David Moyes. Whether you like it or not, if we replace David Moyes, a rebuild will ensue.
But the problem is, I don't think David Moyes can attract the type of players that West Ham want to play.
Which I think is that's a fair statement.
I don't think that is, because Paquetá and Scamacca turned up this season.
Yeah, but they have, Charlie. But let's be honest, as Moyes really used them in the right position, it took Moyes so long to find Paqueta's right position. He's only
Scamacca's been out injured, so there's that. Yeah. But don't get me wrong. I don't think Scamacca is the right guy for David Moyes, and I don't think at any point David Moyes will use him in the best possible way. But the fact of the matter is we managed to attract him with David Moyes here. I'm not saying he's the most attractive manager in the world, but at the same time, if you're a player who's looking to join a new team, are you looking at whether you think the manager is an attractive option, or are you looking at the fact that we've made Europe 2 years in a row, potentially 3? You know, you've got players around him, and you're in the Premier League, and you're going to get paid a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like yes, the answer is yes. I mean, the rebuild problem is, right? You look at it and you say, you're not looking to attract those people if you're David Moyes is staying. You're looking to build. You're looking to improve the David Moyes team, and in that sense, it makes sense. Whereas if you get a new manager, Antonio is probably like out of the best 11 off the top of my head. Antonio would probably be out. Souček would probably be out. Declan Rice, we know, is already going. Who else is in that team that I'm thinking of? You're talking Zuma might potentially be out. Aaron Cresswell would probably be out. Sufal could potentially be out. Fabianski could probably be out. That's 7 of the starting 11 instantaneously. So that's kind of the problem here. Now, I'm not necessarily advocating for David Moyes to stay, because again, I think that's a conversation to the end of the season, and actually for me that largely depends on what happens in the Europa Conference League, right? Because if we lose on Thursday and we're out, then I don't think there's any point in having this conversation. But ultimately, I do think there needs to be some sort of realist. I do think we need to think about it a little bit and see what is actually realistic for us. Because we say the word rebuild, we've never really built in the first place. The only thing we've built a little bit is a side that play David Moyes football. And actually, when we do that, we're pretty good at it and we're decent.
But wouldn't you say West Ham is a better attraction if we win the Conference League this year? If West Ham win the Conference League, we're in the Europa League next year. West Ham are a better proposition to a better manager than they are if West Ham go with Moyes next year and we're fighting relegation again. And basically, we ain't going to attract that kind of manager.
We don't know if we're going to fight relegation again next year. So there's literally no way. Actually, the chances are, if it doesn't, we can't say for certain. We can't say for certain. I think one thing we might have learned this year is actually it wouldn't have been better to try and change what we tried to do to step out, because then we did go relegation. And actually, the second we stopped trying to be different, we started winning games again.
And would you back those odds that we have a similar season to this season next year?
100%.
No chance.
100%. I'll have a bet with you right now.
Oh my goodness!
I will have $100 bet with you. West Ham won't finish in the top 10 next season if Dec's gone. It's a fact. It's a fact.
Listen, I'm not saying top.
Your money out because come on,
I'm not saying top half, but mate, we are not. I will find it hard to believe.
Right.
We are going to struggle as much as we did this season next year. We will finish with more points next season than this season.
Not a chance, mate. Not a chance. I have a bet with you. I have a bet with you, 100%, because I know full well when you take Declan Rice out of this team, you're losing literally 2 players. You've lost 2 players in this team.
You're losing one. You're losing Declan Rice, but
you're using Declan Rice, Charlie, but also losing the captain of the ship.
I mean, the captain's a stretch for what Declan Rice does, but that's fair. I understand.
But he's the captain of the ship, though, Charlie, isn't he?
Because he wears the armband. He wears the armband. Whether we're seeing much captaincy is a different story.
On his arm, Charlie.
He does. But do you genuinely think we won't get more than 37 points next year?
I believe next season will be pretty similar to this. I don't think we're going to finish in the top 10 if we lose Declan Rice. We lose Declan Rice. Are you telling me that we're going to finish in the top 10 next season?
I never said that.
Right? Hold on a minute. So if you're not saying top 10, so then you're basically going under that.
You said same amount. Lucas said more points, and you said no. So you're saying 37 points.
I reckon it'll be between 37 and about 42 next season.
So you reckon we're going to be in another relegation scrap next year? You genuinely believe that?
100%, mate.
I think if David Moyes stays, we're probably completely safe next year.
1,000%.
I wouldn't like to back it, man. Because the way I look at it is you take Declan Rice out of this team, 1, you've got to spend the money. Yeah. 2, you've got to bring in a lot of players to cover a lot of positions, i.e. goalkeeper, left back, Declan, striker, if Scamacca goes, etc.
Scamacca, by the way, I doubt Scamacca will be leaving. I think striker-wise, we're going to be in the exact same situation, which is bad, but I think that's what's going to happen.
So if you're saying that, we've got to obviously change our captain. We've got to recruit a new captain. We've got to bring in a load of other players to get rid of the deadwood that we've seen today. You tell me how we're not going to be in a relegation battle. I would like to hear it.
Because frankly, we're too good for it. I think you look at it and you say, right, we'll have Declan Rice. Yeah.
Are we really?
Yes. Finn Downs will have another year and he'll become incredible. No, the point I'm trying to make is that you're going to have, this is another year where you'll have Paqueta, who's actually starting to look good now. You'll have you'll have like a bunch of other players who've been here for time who are now bedding in as you like.
And who knows, real quick to cut you off, Charlie, and who knows, and I'm not saying it, but for all we know, out of the blue, Lucas Paqueta next year could be running the goddamn thing. Like it's no one's business.
If the last month is anything to go by, then yes. Someone, we just buy someone. I'll be honest with you, Rice is not irreplaceable.
He isn't, but then you've got to look at it.
Like, for a start, he's not that good a captain. He just isn't. Like, so we can take that out. It's not useful losing your captain, but realistically, what does he actually do as a captain? Not that much, right?
All right.
Secondly, with him, obviously you're going to be losing like it raises an interesting question on how you proceed next season with your midfield makeup, because realistically, you're looking at if we were playing a 2 with him and Souček or him and Paqueta, then all of a sudden that raises an interesting question about what kind of person you put in there and anything. But actually, with this 4-3-3 setup we've got going on, just buy a really good 6.
Yeah, but it ain't just that though, Charlie. Like, you make it sound like it's just easy to go out and find another player who can do what Deck does. If Declan Rice is in a team that's been fighting relegation this season, what are we going to be like without Declan Rice?
But you could argue if we go out and buy a 6 that's strictly a 6, we could do a bit better, because this whole season, Declan Rice, I'm not saying there's been like an internal battle, but like Rice has wanted to be more than a 6. So,
all I'm interested in is are we having his bet, Lucas? That's all I'm interested in.
Man, I'm just telling you right now, the odds say there's no shot we have a repeat of this season.
Let's be real. Flipping Lavia's just been relegated with Southampton. He could do it. There's so many people out there that can take that position. The thing is, right? You're not going to get someone who's as good as Declan Rice, but that's not what we should be aiming at. We can't go, oh my God, we have to get someone who's as good as Declan Rice, right? If you think he's world class, then we're guaranteed not to be able to replace Declan Rice. That's just a fact of life. But
the problem is though, Charlie, is that I know we're having a good debate on this because it's quite interesting, But if we're not competing for Europe, then we're looking to try and stay in the league. It's as simple as that.
I agree. That's why we got to see what happens. And I'm the same way with Declan Rice. Like, don't get me wrong. If I had to put a bet on if he's leaving this summer or not, I'd probably say he is. But we still don't know. We still don't know, because what if we don't get that evaluation? Declan Rice will be playing next year.
I'm becoming increasingly confident he'll stay this season, and we'll get nothing for him in the next.
But this is exactly what I'm saying. That we're talking about all this, and like, oh, we're gonna fight relegation again next season. We don't know, because, like I said, what if we don't get that money for Rice that we want? Rice is gonna stay. We may add better players, and who knows what will happen next season? We've got to wait.
I will say this right now, and you can clip this up, people. This is exactly how it will go down.
Only end well,
right? In 2 ways. If we win the conference, we're going to have Thursday football again. We might sign players, but I think Declan's gone. I don't think West Ham are going to take a risk of losing £100 million player for another year.
Yeah, but this is the thing. What if we don't? What if we do not get? I'll be safe. 80. What if no one's preparing 80?
They will chuck a player in for West Ham. I've always called this. I've called it from minute one, and I will say it again and again and again. West Ham will not get £120 million for Declan Rice, but what they will get is cash and a player.
But you're an odds man, though. The odds of that, unlikely.
And also, I think the cash will be significantly less.
But the cash might be less, but the player will come in handy. Like, for instance, if Man City come in and said Calvin Phillips, even though Calvin Phillips is not the right man for West Ham, are West Ham going to turn their nose up at a player who, let's be honest, is a decent player for our level? Let's be real. And then you get £70 million or £80 million. But
again,
you're not getting 80 in Calvin.
It all depends on what the board wants. If the board are fixated, which I'm not, if they're fixated on getting 100 million Great British pound for Declan Rice, and there's no other way that you're getting them, it ain't happening. He will be here next season.
But listen, this is the 2 scenarios that I'm going to say.
And you said it yourself. Declan Rice is not going to force his way out.
He won't force his way out, but we've got an owner who loves a pound note. Right, and he ain't going to turn it. Yeah, but he's not going to lose money.
I don't disagree with you there. I think you're correct on that. But what I would say is we also have an owner who has consistently not sold people to his own detriment. We've kept people far past their sell-by date because he doesn't like selling people and doesn't want to be a selling club. Now, obviously, with Declan, that's a little bit different.
And he can never turn a profit.
That as well. But at the same time, we have the one thing I can in the transfer market. The one thing I can consistently say about him is that he does not like selling. He doesn't like doing it.
Mans is a hoarder of mid players.
Right, yeah, but Charlie, I understand that, but he ain't going to turn his nose up at a couple of players. Like if Chelsea, like for argument's sake, if Chelsea come in for him and say, right, we'll give you Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher and some money. I know he's grunting there, but I can see it happening because I don't see a team coming in and paying £120 million for him, but I can see a team coming in, paying some cash for him and chucking us a few players. Yeah, like it's on. Like that is what's more realistic than anything. you know what I'm saying?
But that also doesn't make that much financial sense. One, because you said Conor Gallagher was worth $5 million the other day. Don't think I've forgotten that, James. That was a wild statement from you, sir. Act like it wasn't.
Wait, you actually said that?
Well, we ain't saying no more about that. But...
That's almost just as bad as people comparing Flynn Downs to James Ward-Prowse.
I know, man. I know. But I was bantering. Go on, Charlie.
Yeah, you were, to be fair. But the money that we'd get with those players would be next to nothing. Let's say, for sake of argument, it was those two players. You're going to get what, like 20 million? It's not going to happen. And also, player trades happen super unfrequently, like super unfrequently.
But if Moyes wants the players, if Moyes is here, let's be real, and he looks at, say, Chelsea, and there's two players in there, like Broja, for instance.
Well, yeah, the ball is in our court.
Right.
But again, just because we have the control doesn't mean really a whole lot. It just means we have the ball in our court.
I agree with what Glenn says there. Yeah, players won't come to us. That's more on it. If you're looking at it on that side of things, right? If
we don't get European competition, I can agree with that. But if we do, I would say that's a bit wrong.
Right, but I'm going to say this, as I was just saying just a minute ago. My scenarios are this: if we get Europe, then we're going to go for the same thing that we've gone through this season. We ain't going to better. Well, we are safe now. I believe we're safe. I'll be very shocked and stunned if West Ham end up losing it from here. Yeah, right. It ain't that. Well, we're safe. Yeah. I can see a similar season to next season because West Ham can't compete in all four competitions. West Ham can't compete in Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup, and Europa League.
We just have to see what happens on Thursday, June 7th or July, whatever month it is.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of them ones at the end of the day, though, Lucas. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and if we don't get Europe, say, for example, we lose in the conference final or lose in the semi-final, and we don't get Europe next season, I will look at it a bit different. Maybe 10th we could hit. Yeah, maybe 10th, 9th, 8th, something along that bracket, because obviously all you're playing is once a week. But if we're playing Europe again, there's no chance we're finishing in the top 10.
Yeah, but if we don't get Europe, we're not going to attract anybody. And if we don't get Europe, we're not going to attract anybody. But if we do get Europe, we attract players. You think we're going to be worse?
I think if you take Declan Rice out of this team, West Ham becomes a very, very weak. You know what I mean? Like you've got a lot of aging players in this team, right? If you go through the team and you just like sit down with a notepad and pen and just tick off all the players who are sort of coming towards the end, you've got about 7 players there.
That's why you have to sell Declan Rice.
Yeah, but I agree.
He's the only money cow we have right now. Like there's two. Like I was talking to someone about this the other day. I was talking to Jack about this the other day, Jack Elton, right? And like realistically, there's 2 players in this squad who could realistically, and I'm talking realistically, be sold this summer that we can make money on. And it's Declan Rice and it's Saïd Benrahma. There is not a single other player in this team who we could realistically sell who will get any amount of money for. And even then, Benrahma won't be that much, right? We have an aging squad. You're right about that. That's a big concern of mine, is this squad is just getting older. And there's a lot of players that we need to replace and we need to recycle. And we do have to, like, even if David Moyes stays, we do still need to get quite a significant amount of players who, if not first team now, need to be growing into that sort of first 11 mold, right? And the only way you do that is by using money, and the only way we get money is by selling Declan Rice, which is why the player swap thing also doesn't make that much sense, because unless you're getting really specific players, and they have to be really specific, because not only do they have to fit the positions that we need to start recruiting in, left back, right back, whatever it might be, right? But they also have to be the type of people that would fit the system. Because the one thing that we should have learned this year, and I've got fair confidence that we as a fan base have learned it, if not our board, they might move a bit wild, but whatever, is that you can't just buy a good player and lob them in and it'd be like, sweet. You know, look at Scamacca, right? Scamacca, undoubtedly a talented footballer. This is a lesson we should have learned years ago, but for some reason we don't learn these things, right? But Scamacca, a talented footballer. Danny Ings might be past his prime, a talented footballer, right? Who are specific types of people who score goals. We can't just lob them in Mikel Antonio's role and go, that'll work. That's why this is why the player thing I think is unlikely, because unless you're offering someone who really specifically makes sense for us, then actually it doesn't make a difference. Not only did the finances not add up, but that specific part doesn't really add up. It becomes really, really difficult. I think Declan Rice is a really difficult problem to solve. The movement of him is a really difficult problem to solve because, I said this on the video when I was in the comments section the other day, James, and you were talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, if this was 5, 6, 7 years ago, it'd be beautiful. You could sell him for 80 million, whatever it might be, and you'd get what, 4, 5, 6, 7 players for that. Now you get 2 for that amount of money.
That's why I say
really difficult.
And that's why I say, because I saw Rich put it in the chat, because I've been an advocate of if we don't get the money we want, I'm really not fussed about selling them. And that's exactly the point. And then to add on to that point, to what Charlie said, do you really trust David Sullivan with, let's just, for argument's sake, call it £80 million, right? Do you trust him to give us a fair bit of that money to invest in the players? Like, I do not expect to see half of that. Like, if we sell Rice for 80, I think David Sullivan pockets probably
this is something else that was obviously like
50,
last week we had the conversation about like the director of football and this idea of us potentially getting a director of football and stuff. And I had this conversation with Gio because Gio was like, I don't trust David Sullivan to hire a director of football. And I'm like, bruv, anything to get him further away from that money is the right thing to do right now. Like, because the thing is, this is the most amount of money we're about to ever have for a player in any of our lifetimes. We will never have a player that will probably sell for as much as Declan Rice is about to sell.
And like Charlie said, if we sell Declan Rice, you know what? Screw it. I'll say 100. If we sell him for 100, and David Sullivan's grimy, selfish self keeps even more than 50% of it, let's call it 60 million pound of the 100. What is 40 million pound going to get us to help this squad? One or two players.
Yeah, but don't forget, this is why it's important that West Ham, 1, get to the Conference League final, 2, and win the thing. Because if West Ham do get that, you're going to be in the Europa League next year.
Yeah, and this is why I say we just have to wait and see.
But I don't think it is on Sullivan, though. I know what you're saying. I think they've already given the money for Declan Rice. That was last season, if I'm being honest. I think they've already, because West Ham don't spend 163 million. That's one thing they don't do. And if West Ham are expecting a big windfall this season, then they're going to spend that, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? The problem is the players that we've spent out on have been flops, some of them.
I disagree only because I don't think I think we can't accuse David Sullivan of both, for example, of being both tight and overly spendy. The two don't make sense. We can't accuse him of not spending, but then of also
he doesn't spend his own money, Charlie, does he? That's the problem.
This is maybe a controversial thing to say, but I think we've spent a decent amount of money over the course of David Sullivan being here. I think we've spent enough. We've just spent it really stupidly, really stupidly.
And I would say at horrible times or too late.
Yeah, and all in clumps like we did like this summer, right? We always we'll do it in a clump and then we'll need something the next window. And bro, I wish I've never taken any drugs or drunk any alcohol in my life. I wish I was, trust me. After today, watching that match today, Jesus Christ, I wish I was high or drunk or something. My Lord,
that's gonna be a future. That's gonna be a future stream. Watch along idea. Yeah. I'm just gonna watch a match absolutely zooted and just see how it goes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But we'll spend it all in clumps, right? We'll spend it in a massive clump, and then the next window where we desperately need something, we won't spend a single penny because we're dumb.
Yeah.
I think we spent enough money. We're just stupid with it. We're just dumb. We can't trust. This is what I'm saying. Just get a director of football. We can't trust the people who spend the money currently to spend the money. We just can't.
Yeah, I know, mate. Listen, I understand what you're saying. Obviously, this is a discussion for another day, and obviously, we will get in. It does help. Trini with the comment of the night there, I must admit. Listen, I understand what you're saying. It is as I just said, it is a conversation for another day. And we'll do a show on it as it goes. I will get everyone on and have a chat about it. The only thing I do fear, though, Charlie, I do look at next season and I do look at that team, and especially that team that come out today, that team's supposed to be players who are being itching to get in the first team. I didn't really see anyone in there today that I thought was good.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And that is the major fit. Maybe Danny Ings to a point, done a little bit, but that was about it. But Fabianski kept us in the game for as long as he could. Do you know what I mean? Until it was like too late, basically. It was just, I'm not saying that, and one thing I will say this, I'm not trying to say that we're like I want us to be like Manchester City, but there should be at least 2 or 3 players to come on and make an impact, and none of them did today.
I said, I disagree with you, the 2 or 3 players, because I think they do exist. But what I mean is, like, as a whole, like, I agree, my bigger problem isn't with the ability of the players. My problem is for today specifically was the performance level was just nowhere near good enough. I don't think.
Yeah,
I think
they just didn't put in the performance that they need.
I think Cornet can be one, but like Charlie said, and others have said rightfully, he's been a bit unlucky this season. But you get him in for a whole preseason. I know he had a preseason, but it was with Burnley. But once he gets fully fit, a whole preseason under his belt with Moyes or a new manager, whatever, I think he will be at least 1 impact sub. So hopefully we have to look for 2, not 3.
And also realistically, out of the people I named who I thought could play that role, one of them's Lanzini. He'll be going. Like that it just increases the thing that we need.
Hopefully he comes to DC United so I can see him and maybe give him a hug.
He's a beautiful man, isn't he?
That's an understatement.
Yeah. He will forever be remembered for that Spurs goal. Which I mean, that goal will stay with us forever. Lads, I'm going to wrap it up here, because obviously we're going to do the player ratings tonight at 8:00. I want to thank you for coming on, Charlie. I really do appreciate it, as always, your input. I don't always agree with, but I respect it.
I just say 2 things quickly. The first thing, I did see someone in chat, I don't know who said I only say things to get popular. Bro, these 2 men, I've probably told them both before. I've been recognized in the street before, and I hate it with a passion. I don't want to be popular. I just say my honest opinion, and everyone disagrees. That's fine.
I just want to be a boy.
I just want to be left alone. Ideally, do you know what I mean? I just want to be. Ideally, I just be locked in my house, PlayStation on, and not have to worry about it. 2, if you haven't subscribed to E20 Zone TV already, what the hell are you doing? Get strongly involved. Several shows a day during match days, at least you're talking about, let alone everything else. So hit the bell button while you're down there as well, so you don't miss out on future videos. Come on now.
I'm going to say this, to everyone in the chat who's watching right now, all 70 years. I remember doing a stream with American Hammers, and I remember Charlie said about Declan Rice, and me and Charlie was going at it for about an hour, like literally, constant. Right, and I was like, I'm backing Deck up, mate, 100%, and But so I'm gonna get to this comment here quickly, So much overreaction today. Not really, mate. Listen, I can accept us losing. I've seen us lose so many fucking times this year, right? So I can accept a loss. I can't accept poor player performances, mate. Like some of them didn't really do nothing today, Blue. So is what it is.
Get us to 5,000 subscribers, and you'll see a live watch along with me absolutely zooted out my ass.
Well, I actually turned around and said to WestHamOnline the other day, I said, if we get to 10,000 subscribers, he's got to do a face reveal, mate. And otherwise, he's never coming back on the channel.
No, I'll make it 3K. Get us to 3K, because July 1st, that good is becoming recreationally legal, and I will do a live watch along higher than a giraffe's head.
Fair enough. Please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Tonight at 8:00, me, Lucas, Mitchell, Clive. It's gonna be a vibe tonight. Trust me. I spoke to Mitch in the WhatsApp group that we've got,
Clive,
and he's
bring the vibe.
It's gonna be, it's gonna be interesting, right? Because Mitch weren't happy, and I definitely weren't happy today. So fucking be there at 8:00 tonight.
I might have to get zooted for that.
I think you might have to, mate. It's gonna be fucking mayhem. But 8:00 tonight.
I'll spark one for the boys.
Listen, I'm going to say this. Thank you very much for the £2 also from the Tottenham fan who's called us Banter FC. You know what I mean? Cheers, mate. And 8:00 tonight. Subscribe, like the video. You know what to do. I ain't got to keep telling you.
Good man, Ben. Good man.
Ben's on it tonight. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'll shut my mouth now. You take it easy, and I'll see you at 8. West Ham United lose today, but, it is what it is. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.